Welcome to my final From Season 2 episode review video, as this is the Season 2 finale. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you're not caught up to the point where I am every watching or watching from, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you find that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. Now, I'd already seen the first two seasons of From. I just wanted to review each episode in time to be ready for the new episodes of From Season 3, which actually premiere really soon here, Sunday, September 22nd. Now, I don't know what time the episodes air at. I think they're like 8 o'clock at night, but if they air a lot earlier, like 12, 2 in the morning on that day, I can get the reviews done a lot sooner. If it's more later at night on the actual day, it's going to take me a little bit longer, possibly, to get the reviews done. But I'm a pretty big fan of the show. I don't think it's amazing, but I think it's pretty solid. I'm a little worried that the show will have kind of a lackluster ending once they decide to end it. But I like it thus far. And it's by some of the people that are behind Lost, and I'm a huge fan of Lost all the way through. One of my favorite shows of all time. So make sure you come back to the channel here for the Season 3 reviews of From, which will be new and fresh in the head and not stuff that you've already seen with Season 2 and Season 1. So with all that said, this will be From Season 2, Episode 10, the Season 2 finale. The title of this episode is called Once Upon a Time. And this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. So Christy and Kenny arrive at the Luz, and Boyd directs them upstairs where Julie lies in a comatose state. Jade remarks that Julie should not be putting on a prom, or should be putting on a prom dress, not dealing with this. Jade says their problem is that they don't know enough and need to find out more. Kenny exits as Boyd leaves to talk to Sarah. Donna leads Dale and Elgin in searching for Randall. That's kind of an odd team. Dale says that they should gather their supplies and venture out as a group. Donna points out that Boyd tried that already, as Dale continues to complain about corpse collecting duty. As they search for the body, Dale thanks Elgin for joining them and says that he just wants to feel useful. Donna tells them that his dream might be the key to solving their predicament. Dale quickly finds Randall's body, which is in a comatose state like Marielle's and Julie's, and then notices that there are no dead monsters. When the three move to pick up the body, Randall begins screaming. Back at the Luz, Christy assures Tabitha and Jim that Julie is breathing all right. When Christy moves to check Julie's eyes, Julie begins screaming in pain. Marielle also begins screaming, startling Fatima and Ellis. Boyd leads Sarah and Kenny into the forest and explains how the boy in white led Sarah to the faraway tree that transported him to the dungeon. Also appeared in Elgin's dream, who told him the nursery rhyme that Paula kept repeating before she died. Boyd asks for more information about the boy in white. All Sarah can say is that he wanted to help. Sarah tells Boyd that this is her chance to help the people of the town escape. Then they arrive at the ruins of the dungeon, and Sarah stops and says she can hear the music box, but Boyd and Kenny cannot see it. Sarah promises that she can hear it and becomes disturbed, telling Boyd that she can hear Julie, Marielle, and Randall screaming in pain. Sarah's nose begins to bleed as she begins screaming too, repeating the nursery rhyme and telling them that it needs them to stay. Sarah tells them that it is laughing at Boyd for bringing it to the town and getting it free. It wants to hurt them and was so excited when it touched Kenny's arm. I think it was Boyd's arm, actually, that I meant to put. Boyd asks how they can stop it, and Sarah tells them that Julie and the others are dying, and when they do it will be too late. Sarah tells them that he needs to make the music stop, but does not know how, as the pain overwhelms her. Donna returns and finds Tilly leading a prayer circle, reciting the 23rd Psalm. Donna tells Matthias to take the guns and lock them in the shed. Matthias, I think it was, actually, but have to see them about today. Jim and Tabitha watch over their daughter. Tabitha tells him about Victor's mother, who tried to free the children in the tower just like her dreams, and believes the key to saving Julie is in the tower. Jim is against the idea, pointing out that his theory about the township almost got him killed. Tabitha counters that their daughter is experiencing something out of a nightmare while her mother is powerless to help her, and all she can think of is Thomas when he died. Tabitha says she can't sit around, but Jim reminds her that Victor's mother never came back, and Victor had to grow up alone. Tabitha tearfully says she needs his blessing to go. Tien Shin, Ethan, and Victor return, and Ethan says Julie will be hungry when she wakes up. Tien Shin promises they will make her favorite food. Tabitha then asks to talk to Victor privately. She asks him about his mother and the children in the tower, and if he knows the way to the tower. Victor shakes his head no, but says he knows the way to the bottle tree, visiting which is necessary to get to the tower. Jim asks for a second with Tabitha, still skeptical, and Tabitha says she has to at least try if it will save her daughter, and then Jim is deeply worried and they hug. While Sarah recovers at the dungeon ruins, Kenny asks Boyd what their plan is. Boyd says they should go back to the town, explaining that there is nothing they can do at the moment. Kenny asks what they will tell people, and Boyd says they need to assure them that they are working on it and make them feel safe. Ellis finds Reggie and asks if he is okay. Reggie replies that the answer is obviously not, and Ellis apologizes for the previous night. Reggie admits that it was his fault for going crazy and reminisces about how Paula was the one good in crisis. Reggie goes on to say he never realized how fragile they all are, and how he was downstairs making dinner when it happened. Ellis tells him it was not his fault, and Reggie leaves. Fatima arrives and asks how Reggie is doing, and Ellis says he can't imagine what he would do if he were in Reggie's shoes. Fatima then asks Ellis if they can get married today because they have no idea what is going to happen, and if this is the end, she wants to go out married to him, and Ellis happily agrees. Jade breaks a number of glass bottles on the table and examines the pieces. The vision of Tom that's there asks what he is doing, and Jade explains that it's a thought experiment. Tom asks if Jade will ask if he is real, and Jade replies that he thinks this is a stress-induced psychosis, and Tom will disappear soon enough. Tom asks about the purpose of glass breaking, and Jade explains it's a way to reorient his thought process to find a different way to look at a symbol because he has been looking at it wrong. Tom takes a drink and notices that Jade changed the still before telling Jade that he is overthinking it because he knows what he needs to do: find the symbol in the tunnels. Calling it natural design. Jade says nothing about this place is natural, but Tom corrects him and says none of it is familiar. Tom tells him that if there are answers, which he grants is a big if, they will be in the tunnels. Jade asks if he is supposed to take advice from a man who died trying to rescue a woman who wasn't even trapped, and Tom says he would do it again because it was the right thing to do, and Tom concludes that right now there is a 16-year-old girl who needs his help. Sarah asks if they have buried Paula, and when Boyd realizes he forgot, she offers to take care of it and tells him that he is doing the best he can. Meanwhile, in the shed outside Colony House, Matthias stores the shotguns when Reggie arrives offering to help. Reggie then cuts his throat, telling him he is simply going a little sooner than the rest of them. Jade bikes to the mouth of the caves and ties a spool of thread to the tree outside and heads inside. As he ventures inside, he is startled when he comes face to face with a ventriloquist dummy, which he pokes to ascertain that it is a normal toy before heading further inside. Boyd goes to the empty church and asks if God is there, adding that if God exists, he is an asshole. Boyd muses how if Father Khatri were present, he would say that God moves in mysterious ways. Boyd points out that Father Khatri had a plan and thought God had a plan for him right until he was killed by the creatures. Boyd recalls how his last act was to pray in order to show God that he never lost faith. Boyd tells God that if he is not here to pray, or that he's not here to pray, and that if God is anything other than a bedtime story, he will tell them why he made Boyd think he could help people when all he is an idiot who gets people killed. Boyd asks if he finds this funny and shouts at him to answer when Donna arrives. Christy watches over Marielle and is visited by Kenny. Christy asks Kenny if this is how it all ends, and says that she allowed herself to believe that there was a plan to everything after Marielle walked off the bus, but has to come to terms with the fact that they will all have died for nothing. Kenny tells her that her father used to say, it's hard to see a sweater when you're only just a thread. Kenny says that maybe they are not the ones who get to go home, but what they did in the township will make it easier for the next group of people, and they will turn out to be the reason they go home. Kenny says that just because they are in a thread doesn't mean they don't matter. Boyd tells Donna that Sarah says Julie, Marielle, and Randall are dying, and once they do, it will be impossible to stop the monster, which will kill them all in their sleep. Boyd tells her that Sarah saw the music box in the clearing, but it was not visible to any of them, and adds that he saw his wife the previous night. Boyd blames himself for bringing this to the town, but Donna points out that he saved a lot of people and that his son is getting married. Donna tells him to make the most of the time they have and return to Colony House with her. Boyd refuses to give up, and Donna says she isn't saying to do that, but to take some time to get to see his son get married. Jade continues to venture deeper into the tunnels and stops at a large chamber. Suddenly, altars with the ghoulish children appear surrounding him as they all chant Akui. When Jade looks up, the roots on the roof of the tunnel have formed the symbol with light from the sky shining through it. The visions then disappear, leaving him alone. Victor and Tabitha trek through the forest. Tabitha asks for more information, but all he can say is that the children needed her. They then find the bottle tree, and Victor reveals that it is where he found her body, his mom. He then explains that the tree is a faraway tree, which Tabitha remembers as how he and Julie escaped Colony House. Victor says that they usually transport people to different places, but this one always transports people to the same place. Victor then gives Tabitha his lunchbox, which he packed with snacks. Tabitha says thanks and hugs him before going inside the tree. She is then transported to the entrance of the lighthouse. Donna leaves Fatima with hands over her eyes to her and Ellis's room, where Ellis has made an altar out of flowers by the window. Boyd then arrives, saying that wild horses could not have stopped him. Fatima asks Boyd to walk her down the aisle, which he happily agrees to do so. The two recite their vows, expressing their love for each other, and kiss. Something they say reminds Boyd of something, and he tells them that he loves them before he leaves. As they watch over Julie, Ethan asks his father if they will get to see Thomas again. Jim tells him that they will, as well as his grandfather. Ethan says that it might not be so bad then. He then gives his sister another pillow, remembering that she prefers it. Boyd goes to the Clary's Canned Goods truck, where he fetches the torch he took from the dungeon. However, he is confronted by a shotgun-wielding Reggie, who blames him for causing all of this after going into the forest. Boyd tries to tell him that he thinks he can fix this, but Reggie shoots him in the shoulder. Reggie apologizes and says he always liked Boyd, and then Boyd draws his pistol and shoots Reggie dead. A wounded Boyd then heads to the dungeon ruin and lights the torch, which restores the dungeon to its full form. Boyd notices the music box in one corner, while Julie, Marielle, and Randall are chained to the wall. Boyd tries to get them free, but they are unconscious, and he promises to free them. Boyd prepares to destroy the music box, but a vision of Abby tells him that destroying it will only prolong all of their suffering. The free victims of the monster then begin screaming. Abby tells him that he believes he needs to be a hero, but none of it really matters, and he no longer needs to suffer and can join her. Boyd asks why this monster is letting her talk to him, and then the vision of Abby responds that hope is what feeds their suffering and pain, made him abandon her when she needed him most, and is what feeds the forest, not fear. Abby tells him to leave the three prisoners, saying they will just die tomorrow, if not to the day. And then Boyd then smashes the music box with a torch, and all three wake up. The dungeon disappears, and Boyd declares victory. The familiar dog then appears and runs off into the forest. At the Lou house, Ethan draws while Jim brings Julie something to drink. Ethan notices that the buzzing of the cicadas is gone and asks what it means. And then Julie asks where her mother is. So Julie's up now. Tabitha climbs the steps of the lighthouse and then hears a child's voice say, "Akui," from above. She ascends to the top floor and then gazes out at the vast expanse. The boy in white then apologizes, saying this is the only way, before pushing her through the window. Tabitha then wakes up in a hospital, seemingly back in the normal world. Dr. Brody then arrives and Tabitha asks where she is. Dr. Brody explains that she is in St. Anthony's Hospital, having been found by hikers 3 days prior unconscious in the woods. Dr. Brody continues to ask her questions as Tabitha stares in disbelief outside the window and sees that she is no longer in the township. And that's what ends this episode of From, and what ends the season 2 of From. So I don't like the whole sequoias thing. I like the creature monsters, but yeah, it's pretty good. I'll give it an 8.0 out of 10. I'm interested to see what the head creature monster is, if there is one. I'll give the characters of the episode to Boyd and Tabitha. Jade had some good moments in it as well. So I'm really excited for season 3, right around the corner here. Not much time. So if you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are as it pertains to this episode of From. What would you rate it, and whom would you choose as your character of the episode? Remember to come back to this channel for my From Season 3 reviews. I'm not exactly sure what time they'll be at, but they'll be up as soon as possible. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, share your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.